In episode 12 of I Know a Guy, I chatted up with Gastonia starting pitcher Ryan Conroy. Come along for the ride as we sink into fantasy. Our guest today is from Rotunda, West Florida, went to Elon University here in North Carolina, drafted by the Baltimore Orioles in 2018, currently a starting pitcher for Gastonia. I know a guy, and his name is Ryan Conroy. Ryan, how's it going?
Thanks for having me, Noah.
Of course, happy to have you on. So, Ryan, you went to Elon University, familiar with North Carolina before coming to Gastonia last season. How was the experience for you pitching in college down here?
Absolutely. I mean, it was so much fun. Even in high school, I always wanted to come back up here. I liked the area so much. I was fortunate enough to get in front of an Elon scout when I was in high school as a senior. They brought me up here, fell in love with the area, and when Gastonia called me after I was released by the Orioles last year, I always said, that's perfect.
Are you a gamer by any chance?
Oh, I love gaming.
College football 25 comes out today. You gonna get it?
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'll take USF to the college football national championship.
Okay. USF?
Yeah. Well, only because of my roommate Phoenix. He left today, so thinking about him. Sad to leave him, but it was good for him.
I mean, Phoenix has been having an outstanding season.
Absolutely.
Arguably the best closer in the Atlantic League. When you
player.
have this team that is full of phenomenal pitchers having great seasons, do you build off of them? Do you pick their brains? How often do you do those kind of things?
Absolutely. Having a staff like we've had all year, we build off each other. Like you just said, this guy might know something that you've never really thought of. You ask him about something, we make each other better, and that's what's been so good about the team this year, especially. Phoenix has been there, done that. We've had all kinds of guys in and out of here that have been there, done that, and being able to ask those guys questions, help each other out, that's what makes a good team.
Ryan, you spent 5 seasons in the Orioles organization. What was your biggest takeaway from the experience with the O system?
Wow. I mean, I played with a lot of good players. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, they're all, becoming stars in the big leagues now. But the biggest thing that I think set us apart was that not only were we good players, but everybody was a good person. You always hear, kind of nightmarish stories of guys who just weren't good teammates. It's not fun to be around, and that always takes the team and the organization down. But everybody that kind of came in through the Orioles system, they were all good people. And that's something that I took away that, is really important in, building a future for the team, but also just having a good year.
Was there something that surprised you with the Orioles system itself, how it ran in terms of developing pitchers?
Not so much. Everything was kind of what you would think of. It's just that they just knew something everybody else didn't. They knew exactly who to take. They haven't missed. They haven't missed in the last 5 years on guys. Everybody in the league keeps getting surprised when they bring up another stud, but we aren't. Nobody that was involved in that time period is surprised at all.
I mean, yeah, they've had a ton of success recently. Of course, first place in the American League East right now at the All-Star break. Do you root for them, or is it maybe tough because you're not associated with them anymore?
No, I don't hold any bad blood with the Orioles. I'm always rooting for those guys. I spent so much time, and you know how it is, day in and day out with those guys for so long. I spent so much time with them. I'm always rooting for those guys.
Ryan, you have 7 pitches: four-seamer, sinker, curveball, changeup, slider, cutter, and sweeper. I know the pitch you use the most. What's your favorite?
Well, I mean, it's definitely my sinker. That's something that's very unique to me. I throw it in a manner that's not traditional. Most guys kind of get around the ball and make it spin at a 3 o'clock axis if you're thinking of it like a clock. I actually put type of a little bit of a physics thing. It's called seam-shifted wake. Basically, if you get 2 bald spots on the ball on one side when it's spinning, it will corkscrew itself that direction. So I do that not because of anything I figured out, but because I just figured out that I do it. My index finger, after Tommy John, when I was a kid, I couldn't move my wrist a certain way, and so I started throwing baseballs like that. A pitching coach I had at Elon was like, hey, you do something weird. Let's figure out what that is. We never really found out the answer. The Orioles figured out the answer, and we're like, hey, you do this, and you need to throw this more, and from then on, it's been one of my best pitches.
Work with what you got, right?
Work with what you got.
That is very cool. You use the sinker and the curveball the most. Also throw a ton of four-seamers. So is it really sinkers to ground ball hitters and four-seamers to fly ball hitters?
Absolutely. I mean, if I get a guy in the box that's trying to, really hit something hard and he's kind of free swinging, I'm going to throw him a sinker because what's going to happen is he's going to see that come in. It's going to either, for a right-hander, come in on him. He'll hit a ground ball. Lefties, they try to pull me. They'll probably roll it over to second base. So when I need a big ground ball, that's definitely going to be my pitch. In terms of the four-seam, that's more of a, I'm going for a swing and miss, high in the zone. They've been looking at my curveball too much, trying to see it down. I'm going to throw something up and try to get it by him.
You induce a ton of ground balls, so a lot of sinkers that you throw and get a lot of grounders. 10 of the 18 batters you retired on Friday this past weekend against Lexington were via the ground ball. Can recording not a ton of strikeouts actually be a good thing because it could lead to going deeper into games? You ended up going 6 innings in Friday's game.
Well, absolutely. There's different schools of thought there. Maybe the newer school is more about strikeouts, right? They want less of the playing the odds, right? They want to strike them out, no chance of an error, no chance of them getting lucky that they hit it somewhere. But the old school thought is, let's get these ground balls quick, not a lot of pitches, and let's get deeper into games and give my team a chance to win. So on different days, hey, on my last start, maybe I didn't have my best strikeout stuff, but I worked with what I had, right, and got my ground balls and got into the 6th inning with a decent score.
Now we have a segment called Cool Connections. You already named a few players you've played with, of course. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, even Jordan Westberg you've played with. Is there a standout player who is a household name at this point that you have gotten great advice from, you've connected with on a certain level while you were in the minors?
Well, actually, my memories today that the draft is going on. I've been fortunate enough to work out at Cressy Sports Performance most of my career, and also when I was in college. When I was in college which was 2017 summer, that was going into my draft year, I was able to kind of connect with Noah Syndergaard while he was in town, and he actually taught me the slider that was a big part of me getting drafted. They actually mentioned it on the broadcast when I got drafted, and that's actually turned into now more of my cutter that you see at like 90, 92 now. I've kind of adapted it to how I like to throw it. But yeah, that's for me, that was one of the major names that also helped me in my career and got me to where I am today.
It's got to be really cool making those connections, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You see guys like that all the time down in West Palm Beach when I go to work out.
Ryan, you came to Gastonia last season. First half championship game. We talked about this on episode 1 of this podcast. You went 6 innings of 1-run ball, allowing 4 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. You were spectacular in that performance. Do you prepare any differently for big games like that?
No. I mean, to be honest with you, you have to treat them all the same. I mean, obviously it's hard to ignore when it's a big game. I actually, I get excited for the big game more myself. I tend to pitch better when it is a big atmosphere, but no, you can't treat it any differently because that's when things get a little awry on you. You make it too big, you get a little nervous. You start making pitches that you might not normally pitch, and that's when you get in trouble. If you treat it like it's a start, like any other start, and you need to go out there and do your job, you're going to get the job done more often than not.
What's your everyday routine, whether it's a big game or not?
Well, usually I'll wake up, eat some breakfast, hang out. I have to take a nap. Most guys are, jazzed up and they got to go do something. I know Brett likes to go on a walk. Some guys like to do other things like that. I have to take a nap for whatever, and I've done it since I was a kid. My dad always used to make fun of me. We'd go to travel ball tournaments, and I'd sleep on the way there, and I'd wake up like we got in the parking lot. And then I'd get out of the car, go warm up, and throw. That's just always something I've always done. Not a lot of guys most guys are kind of the opposite.
How long are the naps?
Well, I used to take longer naps, but we were fortunate enough in Norfolk when I was in AAA with the Orioles. The Navy SEALs are trained right outside in Norfolk, and we had their mental skills trainers that would come in and talk to us usually every couple of weeks or so and just give us little tidbits that would help us because, at that level, those kinds of things are what gets you to the big leagues. Everybody's talented, so those small aspects are what's going to get you to the big leagues, and they used to have this thing called tactical naps. And that's what the Navy SEAL guys would use. And it's 45 minutes. If you go longer than 45 minutes, that's when you wake up groggy. If you go under that, you're really not going to get much out of it. They always told us 45 minutes naps, you're going to wake up energized, ready to go. And that's what, our Navy SEALs use. So obviously they know something a little more than we do. So I'm going to take advice from them.
So how long have you been doing those pregame naps?
Oh, my entire career since I was a kid.
Wow. And whatever works, right?
Yeah, whatever works.
So not only were you phenomenal in the first half championship game last year, you won the fantasy football championship for the league that we had. And I'm not going to mention where I finished. I'm definitely not going to mention that. But I want to know if you could name the starting lineup for the championship team.
All right, so definitely A-Chain was in there, right?
Yep.
I had Kenneth Walker.
He was
Kenneth
not
Walker
in the
was my
starting
other
lineup.
league. Who were my wide receivers in that team? Let's see. Tyreek Hill.
You did not have Tyreek Hill.
I'm blending my teams, aren't I?
Yeah, you told me before this that you have a lot of teams. So you just have a dynasty now that you're going to run?
I have my dynasty league with my Elon teammates. I have a dynasty league I just started with my friends from home. We're gonna have our team this year again.
Of course.
And I'll probably add in one or two more. Geez, I can't remember my team from last year.
Look, if you want to hit one superstar, mega superstar.
Quarterback or wide receiver?
Neither.
Who is it?
CMC.
CMC. I forgot about that. I was not excited to draft CMC, to be honest with you. You had the first pick, didn't you?
I did.
You took Justin Jefferson,
I
right?
did, yes.
I did not want CMC last year. He proved me wrong.
Yeah,
for sure. He proved a lot of people wrong, actually.
I had the first pick in our league. I had the second pick in my main league that I've ran for 11 years. I took Jefferson in ours, and I took Austin Eckler in the other instead of CNC. It was not a good look.
The running backs are tough. I mean, you end up actually getting the best running backs late. Like I got A-Chain. I had a buddy that he's even more into fantasy football than me. He runs like 50 teams at one time. And he's like, hey, you need to take A-Chain in your rookie drafts. And then if you can get him off waivers in your other leagues, you should get him. He's going to be really good. Took his advice, and it worked out.
Yeah, so A-Chain along with CMC. Jalen Hurts is your quarterback.
Jalen Hurts.
And then your wide receivers, not so special. No offense to them, of course, but Devonta Smith, Tyler Lockett.
All right. Yeah, Devonta Smith was very disappointing. And but Tyler Lockett might not be a high ceiling guy, but his floor is up there. He's always going to get his targets.
I ended up with him at the end of the season in my other league. George Kittle, I love George Kittle.
Yes.
Huge Kittle fan.
Yes.
And then Zamir White, who was great down the stretch last year for the Raiders.
Yes, I actually drafted him in my dynasty league that I just started. Everybody's like, who is that guy? I'm like, well, he's going to take over the Raiders job, so you should probably know who he is.
Jason Myers, the kicker. And Browns defense, you started them, of course, because they played the Jets in the championship week, so that ended up phenomenal for you.
It's a good matchup.
It was a good matchup. When did you first start playing fantasy?
Probably my first fantasy seasons had to be 2011, 2010. I had to be in high school. My mom used to be a general manager of a private golf course down in Florida, and so everybody would run a league there with everybody that worked there. And I worked there in high school, on weekends and stuff like that, so they let me in, and then I won, of course. I think one of my winning seasons was when Demaryius Thomas went off with Peyton Manning. That was a good year. I had a pretty good team that year. They weren't very happy that I won.
Isn't it so great? It's such a great social thing. There are some friends from high school that I just keep up with because of fantasy football.
Absolutely. I know guys, one of my friends' dads, he's been playing fantasy football since I think the 90s. He said they used to have to pick up the newspaper. He ran the league. He would get the newspaper, write down all the stats for everybody, and then have to manually enter the scores. So you wouldn't know who won. Well, I guess you could have an idea, but they wouldn't know who won until Tuesday, Wednesday, until they could tally all the scores.
Different time.
Ryan,
you're on the podcast right now. I am surprised that we have clear skies and it's not raining because 3 different starts you've made this year, we've had rain delays. 2 of those 3 starts, you've had to suspend the game to the day after. What's been going on?
Baseball's a funny game. It's tough. I think I've had the 3 at home. I had the York game that we didn't start until 9:30. I think we finished that game at 12:30 at night. I've had a few other games on the road as well, so it's not even just at home. Yeah. It's a running joke now. If I'm starting, it's probably going to rain. My most recent start at home rained. I think we hadn't had rain at home in weeks. I know we had a little bit of a stretch there where it rained every day, so
entire month.
Yeah,
really.
But we hadn't had rain in weeks. All of a sudden, I'm throwing at home for the first time in a month. Bang, it rains. So it's tough, but you can't let things like that get to you. It's out of our control. It's nobody's fault. It is what it is, and we just got to keep moving forward and try to, put the best starts together we can.
Anything you could try to do to prevent it? It seems like it's every time, Ryan.
Well, there's options like the rain dance, the obvious.
Obviously.
Some people like the rain turtle. I always like the rain turtle. However, we don't have dirt out here, so it's hard to make a rain turtle. You know, you need the clay to draw it in the on the ground.
For those who don't know, what is a rain turtle?
Well, I mean, usually we'll go into usually we have to do it in spaces that aren't being used, like the warning track or something like that. And we'll draw our own turtle, makeshift turtle, and that usually either A, keeps the rain away, or on some days we want a little bit of rain, and we'll draw the turtle in there. But that's not advertised too much.
I was going to say, it doesn't seem like you need to ask for rain. You are a big fan of The Departed.
Big fan.
Talked about this on episode 1. A big reason is because your dad was a major crimes detective and ATF agent in Boston. You said you were born in Rhode Island, lived there until you were 4 years old. Were you ever interested in being a detective?
I was for a little while. I don't think my parents were too keen on me doing that. And, like a lot of us here playing on the team, I was good at baseball, so that kind of became the thing that I wanted to do from a very young age. But it is cool hearing my dad's stories all the time. He has some really good ones. But yeah, I'm interested in that movie not only because of that, but I mean the cast, amazing, the story, amazing, the ending. I mean, I haven't met a person that sees the ending for the first time and is not like, wait a second, what? So it's not only is it one of the best movies, but it also just resonates with me.
The only one who got away, Mark Wahlberg. That's it.
He only got away. And you don't even really know if he got away.
Yeah, sure. Did you go to escape rooms with your dad? You good at escape rooms because of the whole detective background?
I haven't been to a lot of escape rooms. My roommate with the Orioles, Morgan McSweeney, he's from Boston. He loves escape rooms. So he'd always try to drag me to those. But no, I haven't gone to a lot of escape rooms. So
I feel like you should do that with your dad.
I probably should.
Do you have a good impression of, are you a cop from The Departed?
No, I don't have a good impression, but I do. When I have the mustache, everybody calls me officer. So
there you go.
Which my dad also had a mustache when he was a cop. So yeah, I look just like him when I have it.
Gastonia is doing What If Takeover weeks. The last name was actually just announced a few minutes ago. So now 7 have been announced. Do you have a favorite team name yet?
To be honest with you, I'm very excited to wear the Ghost Peppers jerseys. My girlfriend, she's very excited for us to be. Are we going to be the Garden Gnomes?
Eventually, that is the 6th one.
Yeah, she's very excited for us to be the Garden Gnomes. But I think it's going to be cool.
She likes the logo?
Yeah, she likes it.
Gastonia, the first team to 50 wins this year. Having an outstanding season, South Division champions, best winning percentage in a single half in league history. How's everyone feeling about how things are going?
I mean, it's honestly incredible. I mean, you could have one of the best teams ever and not do something like that. It's baseball. Anybody can get beat on any day. It's not, some other sports, usually the best team is going to prevail. But baseball, anything can happen. So the fact that we did that, it's incredible. And it's not only that, we kind of did it unconscious. I mean, just this past week, I know it's in the second half, but Charleston, I think we were down like 5-1 in the 5th. And nobody even thought anything of it. And we won. I think we won 8-5 or 9-5 or something like that. No business. We had no business winning that game, but for whatever reason, we just don't lose.
How hard is it to stay motivated and stay focused on the goal, because you've already clinched a playoff spot, still plenty of games to be played, and stay locked in toward the end of the season?
Well, I mean, again, it's baseball, and we also have more motivation than just winning. A lot of us are trying to, get out of here and go to, back to affiliate ball or whatever the other opportunities are. So not only are we just playing for the team, which we love to do, but we're also excited because we're playing for ourselves to try to, either get back into, affiliate MLB baseball or what it is. So that's kind of been our motivation. But also, it's just fun to win. Nobody likes to lose. So right now, everybody wants to beat us. So we'll just keep beating everybody. That's fine.
You said it's fun to win. Do you think fun leads to winning, or vice versa? Do you think winning leads to having fun?
Well, that's like a classic conversation. What comes first, chicken or the egg, right? I think, in my eyes, if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be out here, right? So I think the fun has to come first, and the winning will come with it.
Eric De La Rosa agrees.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ryan, what's the goal for you while you're here?
Well, the goal here is, you always have to simplify things. That's the way I look at baseball. It's the way I look at anything, right? Is you have to look at the small goals first. You can't just look ahead. And for me right now, it's just trying to improve on each start, get a little better, we all have our reasons why we're not in affiliate ball or wherever we want to be, right? So it's working on those things that can get you back there. So right now for me, it's, improving on each start so that I'm a little bit better when I get to the end of the season. I can look up and say, okay, I got a little better this year. Let's see if we can make a run next year. Last year, unfortunately, I got, almost half my season taken away from me from my injury. So for me, much of the first half was not only trying to get better, but also just trying to get healthy again, make sure I'm healthy, make sure I'm strong, and make sure that I can continue to play this game. And so now that we're in the second half, I look up and my numbers aren't exactly where I want them to be, but that's okay. And, going forward, like I said, day by day, just keep getting better.
Well, Ryan, best of luck the rest of the season. Thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.